Hey, it's Hex from the Overwatch League. This is In My Sights. We've got a 2-for-1 special for you this week. We're going to see Zenyatta on the offense, Moira on the defense. We're going to follow the point of view of Fielder. The new Paris Eternal Flex support just joined the team a couple of weeks ago, not with his team just yet, so he's playing on about 200 ping at 4 AM, which makes everything he does that much more impressive. Now, on the Zenyatta, there's some things you want to be paying attention to here. You want to use predictive volleys, make sure you're shooting at angles, shoot where they're going to be, not where they are. They can do a ton of damage. Have patience with your discords. One of my bad habits on Zen is moving the discord off a target before they're dead in the midst of a fight. And most importantly, take cover. Zen is a squishy hero. Only 200 HP, squishy even though he's made of metal. It's probably aluminum, or for my British friends, aluminium. It's rolling out here, and one interesting thing about the volleys is you can cancel the volley animation with a melee, but it will still use the ammo that you've charged up in that. But it allows you to do other things if you're in the midst of the animation and you need to put an orb out or something like that. Early on, Nico goes down, Soon goes down, and that fight's just over. Got a couple of snipes in, Nico playing a little out of there. Now he's just trying to back up, maybe take some of these angles. You have no escapability as Zenyatta, so you have to be really careful. Always taking cover. Gets discorded. One thing to note on Discord too is not only will you take extra damage, but it puts a marker over your head. Use that marker to track the enemy, but also know that you can be tracked with it as well. So just waits for his team to regroup. You'd think that he'd want to rotate to his team, but that puts him out in no man's land, so he's just going to sit in cover, checks the corner to make sure a Hanzo's not there. And the primary fire can also be good shield crack as well. Now Mira's gone, so he doesn't have to worry about a Hanzo above him. Just gonna shoot out Discords here. Discord is on Baptiste. Now Discord's on Sigma. Sigma will go down, cleaning up the Orisa. Pretty easy stuff. He heard the sniper shot. It's one of the most frightening things to hear as a Zenyatta. Your hitbox is very predictable because you don't run. You're just a floating robot. That fight was really easy. They just came in with a couple of kills. It was kind of what happened to them on their first offensive push. Sniper compositions are going to be like that sometimes. And that first point comes extremely easily. So he's got a shield here. This is cover. Always be taking cover. Discord is going to track where that opponent is. So the Hulk comes out. The barriers are kind of cracking, so he's looking to see if he has an escape. Cover behind the cart is a great thing to do on offense, and he's just moving cover to cover, one side to another, never be out in the open. Nice volley in there early. That Widow has infrasight up, so he's got to be extra careful. Now, it's just staying behind cover. His team is getting good push, no reason. And there's the volley right there. There is a reason that they are called Orbs of Destruction. They will destroy an enemy team, even a Widow. Gets himself into the immortality field, which is really nice. Gets the Baptiste there, gets a nice two-piece as Mir comes in and Fielder dispatches him with relative ease. No defense has presented itself just yet. Fielder gonna rotate up because his team wants to take high ground here. There's already a shield up in front of him, so it looks like he's out of cover. He's actually not. So Nico gets the orb there. This is a really decent composition for a Zen to be in because the Echo is going to need healing, and without a Mercy, Zen is one of the best long-range healers, a consistent basis. Just fire and forget the healing orb. Checking lines here. So spamming in just primary fires there, trying to get damage. And another volley, thinking where they're going to be. Able to hit that volley. Another window pane. Window pane of pain goes down. He's going to fire shots through there. Doesn't get anything, but the reason is because the rest of his team is just killing everything before he can finish kills. Keeps that Discord, tracking the flankers, and goes and saves his main tank with Transcendence. It's the only Transcendence he has to use this round. Keeps his horsey friend alive. And this is a great spot for Zen. When you're cleaning up a final point, you can sit in the back. You know they're just out on stall. Orbs come out on everybody. The orb goes to Tracer, then off of it when she recalls away. Cleanses herself. But this is just easy. This is where you want to be as Zen. Discord, fire and forget it. Team cleans up. Immortality. field on the cart. That's it. A blazing fast time on Junkertown for the offense of the Paris Eternal. Did everything he needed to do, got a lot of damage done with that Zen. I mean, this composition can output so much damage. Discord Orb just melts people. Never put himself at risk. Never put himself at risk. Didn't die. Ideal Zen play. Alright, on the defense on Junkertown, Fielder is going to be running Moira. Moira is an interesting pick in this composition because they're all kind of going to be spread out. It's a dive composition, but it's going to be a big fracas a lot of the time, and he's going to be right in the middle of things. Things you want to do as Moira is make sure you're cycling in some right clicks. Yes, healing is your primary objective, that's your left hand, but you charge up your healing meter with the right hand, so make sure you're getting as much damage done as possible, because when that runs out, you have to rely on orbs. Now, the Biotic orb placement is also really important. It's your best self-heal. You want to use it to keep yourself alive. Hopefully your teammates are around to get some of that, but generally, you want to be very judicious on how you use your orbs. It's a long cooldown, 10 seconds. And lastly, fade away. Best mobility. If you're in trouble, just fade away. Just like that. Very rarely will you be fading into teams. It's a low cooldown though, so if you need to get to a spot, it's alright. It's about 6 seconds. Taking cover, hiding in here in this super aggressive hold from Paris Eternal. And the reason they're holding super aggressive is they just are fighting the clock right now. They had an excellent offense, so any stall time they can have against the Los Angeles Gladiators is going to win them the map. So they're going to take fights that they will probably lose, and that's fine, because they're not fighting the Gladiators, they're fighting the clock. Cycling in those right clicks, getting damage up. You can see the meter in the middle of your screen getting very low. Now you have to rely on the orb, so that there you're trying to just get some of that juice back. Coalescence is up, and Coalescence is kind of a fire and forget it ultimate. It charges so fast because you're doing so much healing that there's rarely a time where you see a Coalescence and you say, well, that was a mistake. 'Cause it's like, okay, well, now I'm 50% again, it doesn't matter. You get jumped on, there's the Coalescence. Gotta be extremely careful during it because now you don't have your mobility, you don't have the fade away. Healing and damage, you want to try to find clumps of people. Uses that fade to rotate to his team, and it's a tough comp to run an Echo in, but Nico's able to get himself healed up by using the ultimate, transforming. There's the healing orb right up front. Hacked, which hurts Moira, but still has a ton of healing output on it. Doesn't disable either her left click or right click, just no orbs and no fade away. So you can stay in a fight if you're hacked, and it's almost important to because your team is going to be taking a lot of damage. They don't have mobility, so keeping them all alive is important. Gets dove on here, is going to fade out and then back in because he gets the sound barrier. Nice air control to keep himself on the cliff, but that's 3 people on him. I don't care how good you are as Moira, you're going to die in that situation. So good job on Paris just to stall out on that first point. There's almost no progress here. And again, their time bank is so ridiculous on Junkertown that all they're doing is forcing fights, forcing cart stall. Another Coalescence just about coming up. Rolling out with his team because he doesn't have the range of healing that some other healers do. That's a really cool thing to note right there. Always fire an orb before you Coalescence, because by the time your Coalescence fades, another orb will be back up. Getting in the room here, gets himself the self-heal so that he can keep his team alive. Keeping yourself alive is the most important part with the orb, because if you're dead, your team is not getting the healing. It's a bonus if your team can get some, but mostly that orb is for you, especially in those close quarter rooms. But his team gets rolled over there, but they stalled the cart. Speaking of stalling the cart, they're going to come out yet again. In a good position. They've gotten 3 fights on first point, and it doesn't matter if they don't win any of them. I don't think he knows where that high noon's coming from, so he's a little hesitant. Nico's gonna go down again. But they use barrier here. They're using ultimates in situations where, yeah, maybe they're gonna die. But that cart's not moving, and that clock is running down. Tossing Coalescence because this fight's not over yet. Now it's over. That's fine, because that was the Gladiators' last chance to get that first point. He's going to use the fade away. It's out of there. Nico's going to have a hard time getting healing in this composition, so he's going to have to play a little closer to the ground. Fielder also has to be a little careful of the D.Va here, because D.Va has the ability to negate the orbs with the defense matrix, so you don't want to be throwing orbs long distance to your team where a D.Va's in the mix. Orb goes up top. There's not much for Fielder to be doing here. His team's too far away. He's getting pressured by the flankers. But the cart's not moving. Excuse me, payload. Payload's not moving. It's the parlance of our times. Now the push finally comes out, but look where the cart is. Just coming around the bend right now. And yeah, using Fade to get back into a fight, totally fine. He wants to get into that Lucio aura. Yeah, Lucio, come back. I'm your buddy. They can come back with Coalescence here too. But the Fade is a fine ability to use to get into fights because of the 6-second cooldown. By the time you need it to escape, it's going to be back up again. Coalescence here, just looking for a cluster of anything, either teammates or enemies. Gladiators commit the barrier to this. Nico too far away for the healing. It's always just stall. There's a Primal Rage that comes out. There's the self-healing orb. Baby D.Va has no chance. And the Eternal hold up top. They don't have any ultimates, but they're not using ultimates to necessarily try to win fights always. That was a nice time to win a fight, but it's just about playing against the clock. 30 seconds left. If they win this next fight, they win the map. This team gets in a little rough spot here. They all get hacked. He does a good job of keeping everyone up when they're hacked. Moira can be a decent counter to that Sombra in those situations. Even hacked puts out a ton of damage. A nice dive, though, from the Gladiators. A 2-on-1. Fielder's gonna lose those. Ominous music means the round's about to end. Fading out, though. Getting in here. Contested overtime. They win this fight, they win the map. Nice orb goes into the room, able to keep his healers up, and there's another Coalescence comes out. This fight's actually on a razor's edge, but they lost their D.Va early. The barrier comes out to buy time so that No Smite can get his Primal Rage off. Another stall tactic. He does just that. If Nico can get to his ultimate, they can stall and maybe win this fight, but Nico goes down. Really tough for the Echo there. Almost nowhere to hide, especially if the Fly is on cooldown. So they're going to lose that fight. Oh, look at this. 1:20 on the clock. Fielder just a little more stall. Payload's gonna start moving, but only a minute left. And the Eternal played this perfectly. Played the objective. You don't have to win fights. You have to win the objective. You have to win the map. Nico in trouble again. It's fine. Gets the healing. Another big EMP gets most of his team. His tanks are gonna die. Gladiators are committing several ultimates to this. Coalescence will come out, because why not? If you can get this fight stalled out to 30 seconds, then you're down to one final fight again. Birdring Pulse Bombs, Fielder. It's surprisingly easy to Pulse Bomb a Coalescing Moira. It's almost the only time you'll ever try to Pulse Bomb a Moira, because you don't know if Fade is going to be up or not. With a 6-second cooldown, you have to assume it is, and you Pulse Bomb a Moira, she fades out of it, it doesn't matter. But a Coalescing Moira is a decent Pulse Bomb target, and Birdring's just too good to miss those. Final fight here. The self-healing comes in. A lot of healing goes on the cart. No Smite is going nuts. Sees a couple of his tanks there on the other side. Birdering's just had enough of Fielder, takes him out, but the rest of his team will be there on the cleanup. And as is tradition here, it seems on In My Sights, we will end on a player dying. Yeah, Fielder's gonna fade back into this fight, but it doesn't matter. His team cleans it up, and Fielder, on 200 ping, plays an excellent Zen on the offense, enables his team to never get stopped, plays a stalling Moira with his team on the defense, does everything right, fades away, uses all the abilities to their greatest extent. Fielder, a rising star in the Overwatch League.